And Wakili Mary Wangari is with us. Yes, Wakili, banker, author, all this, an inspired, a motivational speaker at this level, yeah? All this in one sport, all this under one umbrella, and all this in this one incredible woman. And so we speak to her tonight. And just before we took that break, Wakili, we were telling people that you exit the stage, and perhaps for those ones that have not had a chance to get to hear from you or to know you, could be asking themselves, what stage? Wakili looks fairly young, looks like she's just beginning life. So what stage are we talking about here? We say we are 18 till we die. I mean, for
I know.
Yes. So what stage are we talking about
Is
here?
it 18 or 16?
16 till we die.
It's
actually 16. So yeah, here we are.
Okay.
The stage that we're exiting from.
Yes.
Equity.
Yes.
Could you please tell us something small about that?
Okay, so Equity is the financial and banking and financial services group, operating in the region, but with a vision for Africa. Because Equity has a vision for empowerment and transformation, and the stated vision is that to become the champion of socio-economic transformation of Africa, largely through offering banking and financial services and very, very elaborate and impactful social impact programs.
And I'm sure most of our people will say that perhaps they have experienced the goodness of all this. But you got into Equity at a time when perhaps it was fairly, a young bank, maybe one would argue not so promising and all that. What was this one factor that got all this to change, to it being one of the best of Africa's banks?
To a large extent, I think it's the very empowering purpose that really pulled a lot of people together, including people like myself, because once I understood that it stood for empowerment, at that point I decided I really want to work for this bank because it's changing lives. It's changing the way we look at banking and financial services. Because I'm sure you know that the model focused on financial inclusion, because so many years, about 30 years ago, most of the people are financially excluded from banking and financial services. And Equity said that we are going to be the champion who show these people that banking is possible, even if you don't have a lot of money. Because before then, people thought, I can only open a bank account if, for instance, I earn hundreds of thousands of shillings or millions. I cannot open an account if I'm in a small business.
Right.
But Equity demystified all that by the products and services.
I know it's been like 20 years.
Yeah, it's 20 years.
It's actually 20 years, two decades,
2 decades.
And I'm sure you've also done so many things. I mean, at least I've read this book, I've followed you a couple of times to realize that you've done so much so. But this particular one is, extraordinarily appreciated and celebrated. Why do you suppose it is so? What is this one thing that you did that perhaps gets you, standing out any moment Equity is mentioned?
The big thing that I would say, especially if we talk about the empowerment of women, is actually the setup of the empowerment program, which we call the Inspire program for the Equity ladies. And the reason why I championed that is because I felt that it is important for us to understand the barriers that are holding the young women are back from taking over leadership, not just in Equity, but in other institutions and their own businesses. And we said that we are going to deal with that from very many perspectives. The first one is inspiring them to want to lead and to appreciate that they are capable of leading. And the second one is to also appreciate that they need to network, and more importantly, they need to grow their knowledge. They have to be learners every single day for them to get ahead. And they can get ahead if they just do a few things. So that program has become very successful. And I have had women telling me, thank you, because I'm now more confident. When there's an advertisement, I'm feeling very confident to apply. I'm able to talk for myself and lay down my credentials. And a lot of them have actually gotten to the next level. Now, some of them will tell me that I tried, but I did not succeed. But I'm telling them, no, don't worry, don't give up. Use that as an opportunity to learn where the gaps are, where you fall short in the credentials. And then let's start working on that. Next time, you will surely get it.
Wow.
So there have been so many testimonials. So as I walked out of Equity on the 30th of June, that is one of the things that I will carry with pride.
Right.
The number of women who now feel more confident because of that inspiration. And they are now doing better for themselves, and they are stepping forward to be counted in leadership.
I am curious, what, these elements of inspiration, what have they done to you as an individual, even as you exit the space to where, and like I started by saying, looking fairly young.
Yes. Linda, I think one of the things that happened to me a few years ago is to realize that at that time I was probably 17 years into Equity and my roles, because I've held several roles separately, and I have amassed a lot of knowledge and experience. And I'm truly grateful because I got that opportunity to learn. And what I realize is that I will be very selfish if I die with that knowledge that I have amassed over the years in doing different things. I started as a legal services manager, and then I became the company secretary of Equity when it was still not a bank. It's actually, when I joined, it was a building society. So I saw it grow. And then I say to myself, it is up to me to share this knowledge so that others can learn from me, learn from my experiences. So when I wrote this book, The Village Girl, one of the main reasons was that I wanted, first of all, to share my knowledge of what I have seen working in Equity for 20 years, and then hope that that knowledge and experience will encourage somebody and inspire somebody to become better and go for top positions. If they're in executive management, they're aspiring for the C-suite, because what I believe is the C-suite is not a reserve for men. It can also, the women, and we have seen a lot of women, not just myself, who are now aspiring and working towards developing themselves and preparing themselves for leadership in the C-suite in various capacities. So that was actually my biggest inspiration, to see more and more women taking the challenge into leadership. All
right, we'll come back to where you are going. And I'm surprised that this is actually the first comment that we're getting. It's probably a comment that you get a lot. Someone says, almost sounding like Dr. Mwangi himself, this woman is incredible, has changed the lives of many, just appreciating you. And I think it was important that we actually get to read that even as we get to the conversation.
Maybe I can brag and say that he has been my greatest mentor. Yeah, because I've worked in Equity for 20 years directly under his leadership, and he's a great mentor. So I've taken a lot of lessons from him. And the big one is actually the courage and the audacity to go for what you want and what you believe in. Because that is what really equity is all about.
Yeah.
And I picked that, and I also started doing the same. So, and that's why you can see a lot has happened that people would never have imagined could have happened. Even the story of equity, growing from a building society to a global brand now.
Right.
It's because of audacity, but also doing what you need to do to get what you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And of course, they say it takes a good student to learn from a great
I think
teacher.
I've been a good one.
You have been a good one, evidently.
I think so.
You know, so you speak of your story, so rich and so real. What got you to working on this space?
The book? I did a newspaper article in 2021.
Okay.
And when I posted, when it was posted on my social media, on various social media platforms, a lot of the people, would comment and say, "Wow, your story is very inspiring." And I think what caught them a lot, first of all, is a very interesting fact that I did not wear shoes until I went to Form 1.
Form 1, like that was so real. Not even,
you read that.
For a moment, you actually asked yourself, for real? Is that possible?
Yes. So a lot of the people got really carried away by that story, but it was just a one-pager. So a lot of them kept on asking, "Mary, have you written a book? I want to read more of this very inspiring story."
Right.
Up to that moment, I had no clue that it was so inspiring. And that is the moment I actually decided I am going to document my story in a book that others can read.
Right.
Because I may not be able to reach everybody with this story, but when I have a book, someone will be able to go to Amazon or Nuria or Textbook Center or call for a copy and read the story in details for themselves. So that was my inspiration.
Beautiful.
To inspire others.
Thank you for this, copy. You know, while reading it, I couldn't help but smile.
Yeah.
Some of the things I could relate to.
Yeah.
At some point, there's the learning of English and a bit of...
In Kikuyu.
It got me singing. It got me singing.
The nursery rhyme.
Can you remember any of that?
Mwalimu wito teacher, neweka orubad, nekwera ciana children, idie mogoda garden, ikabebe maize, itare the permission.
And I do not come
That's how we read.
Like, oh my goodness, this one gets you to beautiful memories that you get to learn as you grow
That's what
up.
we used to do, and that's what we used to learn. And that's why, I mean, I can still remember those rhymes that I was taught in Standard 1. Because I also think it was a fun way of teaching children. Especially in the village, because it was not sophisticated.
Right.
It was very, very simple. Yeah, so when we even went to do biology, the teacher would tell us, "Kuhoha gwetagwo withering." You understand?
Yes.
So he interprets for you and then tells you the English word.
Yes.
So you'll never forget. That's a biology lesson.
That's true.
As we, I think, Standard 5 or something. And it was fun.
It was fun.
For me.
Okay.
That's how we used to do it.
Ah, well,
I'm not sure
times have
how
changed.
those ones in a group of schools used to do that time. That's how we did it.
The girls, do they ever share their experiences with you?
Yeah, each one there?
Your own girls that you speak highly of on the book.
Yeah, they do. The systems have changed, definitely.
Usually.
Yeah, so, and I think we also need to move with the times.
Right.
I mean, even when you go to the village today, the teaching styles have changed because the kids are more modern.
Right.
The teachers are more modern. And yeah, so we have to move with the times.
I agree.
There's the influence of technology also. And then there is exposure also to new knowledge. Yeah, so I think things have moved on.
And we're going to come to innovation and how this has helped you, tapped into so much and actually grow the spaces that you've been, even as you grow yourself. But I noticed that you're so huge on history, religion, family, community, as well as education. How have this, come together to shape the village girl to realizing her legacy? Would you even say that you've gotten to that level of a legacy?
So the reason why I've done that is because my mom was my biggest teacher. and my greatest role model since I was a very young girl when I became a bit intelligent. And because of the circumstances that she was living in and bringing us up, me and my 5 siblings, I have 5 siblings, she told me that, well, I'm poor. I don't have any land to give you or any riches to give you or an inheritance to give you. The only thing I would like to tell you is to work hard in school and get good marks, excel, and then you can get yourself out of these circumstances. It is up to you. That's what she told me.
Right.
So that was my first lesson. And then she also taught me the lesson on integrity. And she told me that there's nothing as important as accountability and transparency. And I have a story on that in the book also.
Yes.
Where what happened when I lost 50 cents change
and
from
you had
the
to
shop.
go back
and I had to go back and look for it.
You know?
And she would not relent until I brought the 50 cents to her.
Yeah.
That was my biggest lesson, which I also came to apply when I got the big jobs as company secretary. It's all about trust. I'm a lawyer handling clients' money. It's all about trust. It's all about accountability and transparency with what belongs to others. And even information, not necessarily money or cash or assets, but even the data we hold. It's all about integrity.
That's true.
So that was lesson number 2. The third lesson that came from the village, directly from my mom, is the power of prayer. Because she will not allow us to sleep or even to eat dinner before we have prayed, said the evening prayers. And what that taught me is that we need that spiritual mighty being, and it doesn't matter whether I'm Muslim or Buddhist or whatever religion you subscribe to, that then you believe is there for you, because that allows you, even when you are dealing with very difficult times, it allows you to have that faith and that hope that everything is gonna be okay.
Right.
That is what that faith has done for me up to today. When I'm confronted in very difficult circumstances, I look up and say, I know you are there and you have my back.
Beautiful.
So those were the 3 lessons that I learned early on and that have carried me through my working life, through my family life, through my marriage and bringing up kids and all that. So, and I'm grateful. Really.
Beautiful.
For those
Not rocket
lessons.
science, as they would say.
No, very easy. 3 simple lessons.
That really count.
Very, very important. And those ones have also given me the foundation on which I have built my life up to the current position I am.
But I listen to you, I read you, and I realize that at some point, then, getting into the space of banking, cut short your journey, practicing law.
As a lawyer.
Do you ever feel that void? Do you always desire at some point in time that, you would want to go back there? Is that the plan?
I have an opportunity now.
Yeah.
But I think I did not really cut short my law as such, because I was in private practice full time. For me, what changed is the stage. Because remember, I went to Equity as the legal services manager. So I set up the legal department in 2004 when we were converting to a bank. That was actually my first project. And I kept on overseeing the legal department. And even by the time I left, I was still overseeing legal, not on a day-to-day basis, but when they were faced with difficult decisions and all that, they'll still seek my opinion, and I would provide the guidance for that. But there was a full-time legal team. Now, legal is something that we live every single day. We cannot leave it behind. Even in our personal lives. We make decisions that have legal bearing. Even in a business like this one, when you're deciding how do we do things, news, all that, and other programs, legal is behind all that. So I do not think I can leave legal it doesn't matter what I do. Because I mean, even when we are talking about going out there with information, mentorship and all that, there are things I have to take into account. Am I operating within the data protection laws now?
Very
because they
important.
have come and we have to observe them. So those are day-to-day, minute-to-minute decisions that we have to take. So I must say that whatever I decide to do, I cannot leave my legal behind. I'll carry it with me.
Plus, you speak highly of the MV
MV90.
team, you know, the MV90 team, and therefore it means day
I'm
in, day
proud
out.
of them. Yeah.
All right, MV90, for the people who would be wondering what that is.
My MV90 is very simple.
Yeah.
I went to the University of Law in 1987 after finishing my A-level studies in Gandu Girls High School, Bishop Gatimo today. And I joined the class of law as, you know, studying law, LLB. So MV90 are my classmates that we qualified and graduated from the University of Nairobi law class, 1990. So MV90 means the shape, you know, like the one that sails in the ocean.
In the ocean, yes.
Yeah. So we gave ourselves that name because we came back together after many years of working, everyone doing their own things. And then we came back together and said, so we went to the same class, we must come together, support each other, celebrate together. When people are sad, we are with them. And that is how we formed MV90. And it is one of the most, I think, effective alumni groups that I've ever seen anywhere, because I have a few others running. But this one has done extremely well. Because first of all, we decided we tackle life challenges together. We set up a welfare program. If I lose a parent, a child, a spouse, or if unfortunately I pass on, we are there to support. I was supported when my mom passed on in 2017. Everybody just comes together. But then we also decided, let's structure it in a way that we don't have to do those contributions every day when something happens. So we do an annual contribution, and then there are set rules. This is what you will get if that unfortunate event happens. So it's working very well. Number two, since we are now going towards retirement, I mean, I've retired.
Oh, yeah, you have.
I think I'm the first retiree in the class. We need to think about our financial security. And every professional needs to think about their financial security. And I'm even telling the young ones, don't think that you're only 20, so you cannot start investing and securing your future, because time moves very fast. You start a family, I mean, they go to school, kids go to school. You will not know how you reach 50 or 60 or whatever the retirement age. And sometimes some people say, I will retire at 40 or I will retire at 50. You take a conscious decision. So I'm telling people, even if you are 20, the moment you start getting an income, put funds together. So we started the investment club under MV90 also. So we have contributed, we keep contributing money and investing in various assets so that it can generate for us some income for the future. And then we have other things like the Farmers Club. I'm sure you know I'm a farmer.
Yes.
And I love gardening. So we have a farmer's corner. Everyone who is interested, growing arrowroots or gouache or whatever, you join that one. And it's very funny conversations there. And learning and education. But also sharing the frustrations of farming.
Because they are
when the floods came and everything was washed away. So here they are crying together. And then we also have the book club for the lovers of books. They can come together. Somebody also started the gym club, fitness club. Yeah, so you just join the one you want.
And of course, unity of purpose, as they would say.
And unity of purpose.
Yeah.
The first thing is, and we celebrate, like every other day now is graduation season. So you see photos flying in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Everyone is encouraging each other.
It's a beautiful
Yeah, so it's amazing. So we celebrate achievements also.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm told that time is moving very fast, that we're almost about to get out of this space. But we do not get out of this space before we get to learn of three things. First of all, what you're doing, what your plans are, you know, now that you're all over, you know, and speaking to young ones who are coming up, and, you know, just reminding them of the elements of mentorship and all that.
Yeah.
But equally, just getting to share a brief experience of, you know, the economic turnarounds in the country, because my assumption is that when you're in this private sector, you equally are alert of what is playing out in the country economically, even as you tell us some more about how we can get the book.
Okay. Yeah. So I think on the economic turnaround, the first thing that we must appreciate is that we are very well positioned as a country.
Okay.
But we are also well positioned as a region. Fact, the East African region is the fastest growing economically region in Africa. All the countries in this region, the East African community, are growing at more than 5% GDP per annum. That's a great opportunity. So what I would say is that we need to look at the opportunities in the region. So whatever someone is doing, and those who are in businesses, they need to be now looking at, are there opportunities for me to do business across intra-Africa trade?
Right.
Uganda is here, Tanzania. Tanzania is one of the fastest growing economies. It's actually said to be one of the top 3 African economies by 2028, believe it or not. Those are the opportunities. Also DRC and other countries. So whatever you are doing, look for ways. Let us not be despondent or lose hope. The opportunities are there to grow and create employment for our youth. Yeah, so that's what I would like to say.
And as you mentor them, as we come to a close, and you tell us how we get the book.
Yeah. So I think the first thing I would like to say is that I have done a lot of speaking engagements, where speaking to groups. Companies have called me to talk to their staff. We have the dialogue, the interactions and all that, and answering the questions that they have about life, about work, about getting ahead. Some want to know, how do I get on boards? Because they are feeling, I'm now at a position where I'm ready to join a board. So we talk about all those things, and then we talk about work-life balance. We talk so many topics that are of interest to especially the young people, and also the young and upcoming executives. And I'm so happy to do that. It's probably one of the things that I've really enjoyed most in the last 1 year since I released that book. And especially because I saw a lot of interest, people asking so many questions, and I'm so happy to engage and answer them, clarify. Yeah, because sometimes it's not rocket science. The answers are with us. We can share experiences and exchange, but also we must also not expect anybody to do things for us. We must step out ourselves and look for the solutions that we need to our problems and cover the gaps that we may have, either in terms of our performance or whatever.
So how do we indirectly get you so that we can get the book?
The book is on Nuria, the local online bookshop. They deliver everywhere in Africa. It's on Amazon. For the global viewers. And then if you call me, LinkedIn, I'm there, and I joined TikTok.
You joined TikTok?
Yes.
Your name?
Mary Wangari.
Mary Wangari, you must check that out. I did. And,
I'm there. And LinkedIn. And Facebook.
Please.
in all the other channels.
Okay.
I'm there.
Mary Wangari. Across.
Yes, Mary Wangari.
Thank you so
Also known
much.
as the village girl.
The village girl, you
Yeah.
know, wakili, like we said, author, banker, lawyer, all that, you know, all that.
Yeah.
You know, as credentials for one lady who was done great, and time could not allow us to pick so much. So we had so much questions, but all the same, we appreciate the little time that
I
we
do
have shared
appreciate
with
the
you.
time also.
Thank you so much, and of
Asante
course,
sana.
Mary Wangari Wamai right there. My name is Linda Alela. I was